I spoke to your friend Howard Hensley recently, and he told me that you may be able to help me with, because I'm looking for information about the battle at Saint Césaire, if you may remember that. Hello? Yes?
Yeah, I'm with you now.
Okay, okay.
The battle that I was involved in, it was on the road to Saint Césaire.
Okay.
Where the road crosses the canyon.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Well, actually, I mean...
there's a high bridge there.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and then there's a little side bridge just below it on a side canyon coming into that canyon.
Okay. And, like I told you, what I'm doing is making an oral history book. So I have a machine here that can tape what you say, so that after that I can write down what you tell me. So if you can just explain to me, like, as clearly as possible what you remember from that battle, that would be nice for me.
Well, I was part of a platoon that was had the mission to go to that bridge and hold it.
Okay.
So that there wouldn't be so it couldn't be blown up.
Okay.
But we didn't really have a battle. I had a slight battle because I came under fire on the side canyon, a little bridge that was paralleling that main canyon.
Okay.
And I'm guessing it was on the left side, and we were going north, so it would have been on the west side of the canyon.
Okay.
And another officer and I came under fire at that little bridge, and I could see where the machine gun bullets were coming from.
Okay.
Way up on the side of the canyon, up toward the rim.
Okay.
And I was attached at the time to this platoon just for that mission. That was not my platoon. I was attached to another officer in that platoon. And the officer that I was with, we got off the bridge, and that was the only field of fire it had, was that little bridge.
Okay.
And I got back into the platoon CP that had this officer that was running it.
Yeah.
And he had a yellow streak down his back, if you know what that means.
Oh, it means he was scared, is that it?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And I walked up and looked down. He had a hole already dug.
Okay.
And he was down in, and he was all to pieces.
Okay.
And I said, you give me one man to cover, because I've got to climb that canyon wall, and I'll go up and knock it out. Which I did.
Okay.
It turned out when I got up there that it was two Frenchmen.
Okay.
They were on the machine gun, and they were from the big spring that came out of the mountain just up above the main bridge.
Okay.
And I've never been able to find that on a map. I wish I could.
Okay.
I've got a map of France that was sent to me some time ago, but it was just a road map.
Okay, yeah, so it maybe doesn't have that.
And that particular area, and I couldn't find the road came up one side of the canyon and crossed that bridge, and then dropped down the canyon again. So it was heading. Maybe we were above Saint Césaire. Maybe that's why I haven't been able to find it.
Okay.
Because they've said it was the road to Saint Césaire, but where we were, as I say, we were going up the canyon, so we would have been going north.
Yeah.
And where you cross the big bridge, the high bridge, I should say, the road then made a right turn and somewhat followed the canyon. Well, we didn't go any further than that.
Okay.
But I didn't shoot the men at the time. I came around a big rock, and the machine gun chattered, and they looked up and saw me and took off, began to run. But they were Frenchmen. They were in civilian clothes.
Okay.
And so a little later that morning, there was we never saw any Germans at all in there.
Okay.
And a little later that morning, in a half hour, an hour after I came back to the camp, I just wandered on up because where they had the machine was on a goat trail that was almost to the canyon rim.
Okay.
And I walked up just not very far. I'm going to say 200 or 300 yards, and came to the end of that canyon and the end of the river. It was boiling right out of the side of the mountain.
Okay.
And they had some kind of a generator or something that it was being used for.
Yeah, that's near Saint Césaire. Yeah.
You know about this place?
I know that near Saint Césaire, if you go down the road towards the river that's there, they have a generator. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this was on that river.
Okay. Yeah. It's Siagne River.
And they were. It was a family. There was a mother or a wife. I'm not sure. I couldn't speak the language at that time, and it was by that time it was 10:30 or 11 o'clock, and they were typical of all country people. They nothing to do, but I had to come in and eat lunch with them.
Okay.
Which was wonderful.
Okay.
As a soldier, that was a wonderful thing. And I recognized one of them. I said, "You," and I pointed at him and then kind of pointed back in the direction where the machine gun had been. And oh no, he didn't know anything about it, and he never did admit it. But there's no question who it was. Both the two men were there at the house.
Okay.
And I've always wanted to know. I wish that I could have. If I should have gotten their name and written it down and everything, and I would have written to them after we got home.
Okay.
From France. But that's the main. That's all that I was involved with at that point.
Okay. Yeah. So actually, well, yeah. Go on.
And then from there, the battalion was sent to Col de Bras.
Yeah.
And we stayed up on the hill at Col de Bras. There wasn't anything there, but just the old buildings had the roofs knocked off of them and everything. It was nothing.
Yeah.
And we were under fire from a heavy gun all the way over at the Italian border. What's the name of that town?
Sospel or something? Or?
Sospel.
Yeah.
Yeah. From Sospel, there was a small hill outside of Sospel that had this railroad cannon in it. And we were in. That was about. Well, that had to be 6 or 8 miles from Col de Bras.
Yeah. And
that cannon would roll out of that hole in the ground and boom and go back in the recoil would take it back in and it had steel doors in front of it.
Okay.
And the Germans were using it. And I think actually what that was originally was part of the French Maginot Line.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
The southern tip of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's about all I can tell you of that area.
Okay. And so, yeah, actually, I think at Saint Césaire it was G Company and I Company that attacked. So you were in H Company, is that it?
I was in H Company.
Okay, yeah. So it's normal that you didn't actually participate in that attack then. Okay.
And I didn't go on to Sospel. You're moving all the time, and I don't remember exactly where we went from there.
Yeah, of course. Okay. And actually, the part that I'm very interested in is basically anything that happened during the month of August. So that means between the drop and then the moment when you got to Col de Bras. Afterwards, I'm not so interested.
Okay, now I actually,
yeah,
my plane crashed in takeoff down at Orbitello Field, north of Rome.
Okay.
That's where we took off from. And about 3:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And I had all my men. I got them out of the plane. Plane hit the ground and exploded.
Okay.
And fire went to fire, and all we could think of was get out of the plane.
Yeah. Which
we did. And out of my stick of 18 men, I had 5 men that were still walking the same as I was. I was in good shape.
Okay.
Really. And I made arrangements with it was an anti-tank group of the 442nd, which was the Japanese American.
Yeah.
They had a couple of those over there. And I rode into southern France. When the planes came back, they towed the gliders in. and I rode in the glider.
Okay, okay. So the next, basically in the afternoon then, right? Like,
Yeah, well, I was there by 10:30 in the morning.
Okay, okay. And I heard that, yes?
Excuse me, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that I heard that the glider landings weren't extremely, well, I mean, they had lots of problems.
Yes,
so can you
glider,
yeah.
The glider I was in, the pilot managed to swing it around and line up with the grape vines.
Okay.
In the vineyard, and he dropped that down between two rows of grapes, and it took the wings off, and we just roared along on the ground till we got stopped like a cigar.
Okay.
And I was, of my outfit, of the whole combat team outfit, was landed the closest to where we were supposed to be to jump.
Okay.
And no men jumped at that point. No men landed. The planes scattered men for 30 miles.
Yeah, I heard that 3rd Battalion wasn't very, well, all 3rd Battalion didn't land on target at all. I heard of that, yeah.
No, not at all. And that by noon, I picked up a couple of men from my company, but it was quite a while before I saw the company.
Okay.
Because they had to graduate. It was similar to the jump in Normandy. The planes, scattered men for miles.
Yeah.
So it was the same situation. In the dark, you really don't know where you're going.
Yeah, okay.
But it was daylight by the time I jumped. It was about 10 o'clock.
Okay.
10:30. Is there anything else? Have you gotten any information at all about Yarikawa?
I have a bit, but that, like I told you, what I'm most interested in is the August part, like all the fighting that went along the coast. Then when it's
Yarikawa was later on.
Yeah, that was a bit later on. But if you have something particularly interesting to tell about that, well, you can go ahead and say it too. I mean, if you have an interesting story about Parachute.
Not really, other than it was a beautiful country.
Okay. And
where I live in America here, my little town is close to the high mountains, similar to Piracama.
Okay, yeah, similar.
We have snow ski lodges, 2 of them in this area.
Okay. I live in France near Nice. That's why I'm interested in this. I'm phoning you from France. I don't know if your wife told you or not.
Well then, because we had to stay on the line, because of the way the war was going north of us.
Yeah.
Instead of it being pulled out like normally happens after a parachute jump, we were there until it was after September. It was about September.
Yeah. That's, I think, October or something like that.
At the end of September or October, before we went north.
Yeah.
And well, that's really all I can tell you. And as far as Nice was concerned, we spent a lot of time in Nice, and at the Hotel Negresco.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that still there?
Oh yeah, it is. It's still called Negresco. It's still at the same place and everything. Yeah.
I've never gotten back there. I've always wanted to go back.
Okay. I don't know if they'd still let you in though, because it's an expensive hotel.
Oh, I think at that time it was, but it didn't cost us anything.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Not very much.
Now, if you went, you'd probably have to pay something.
But I would imagine it was. It was a luxury hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful place. Well, it's awfully nice talking to you.
Well, so you don't remember any particularly interesting stories that may have happened between the drop and those next few days, basically? Any just interesting, even little unimportant events that may be like funny or sad or dramatical or something that could interest me?
Well, I remember the morning of the jump, and I'm trying to think of the name of the little town. It was a village where the drop zone was supposed to be for the 3rd Battalion.
Was it the Lumui or Calion or I don't know what the
No, it's not a name that you'd recognize. I found it in the map.
Okay.
But it's a very small place.
Okay.
Or was. And I remember that by noon, part of the 1st Battalion landed somewhere close to it.
Yeah.
And they already had three vehicles they had commandeered.
Okay. Yeah.
The old trucks that had the burned wood for the fuel.
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying to think of it. There's.
Could you maybe go into a bit more details about how that airplane crashed on takeoff and how you came in that glider?
Well, it was as I say, it was still dark.
Yeah.
It was pitch dark, and the little field that we took off from was a dirt field.
Okay.
Clay field, and of course, August 15th it was dry.
Yeah.
And so as the planes started up, and I was the 3rd plane off the ground, so we couldn't see anything. It just became one solid dust cloud.
Okay.
Of dirt, worse than fog.
Okay.
And this pilot somehow or other pulled to the right as he was taking off, and got off the runway, off to the right, and finally broke through out of the dust, and he was a mile off the runway.
Okay.
And there was a parked plane over in that area that he was heading toward, and he pulled back on the stick, and he didn't have enough airspeed.
Okay.
But we managed to get into the air, probably, it was a good 250 feet in the air, and it just nosed over and stalled out.
Okay.
And crashed, and it crashed came down on the left wing and the left motor. That's what caused the fire. And the tail of the plane was stuck up in the air on about a 70-degree angle.
Okay.
And the door, for jumping out of the planes is toward the tail.
Yeah.
So it was 30 feet from the ground, where we had to jump on that hard ground with no parachute to get out of the plane.
Okay.
That was the only way out. Was the way we went in. That just had the one door. And other than that, why?
And and how many of your men and stuff were wounded, and what happened to the pilots? Do you know that, or?
Well, the pilot and co-pilot both got out of the plane.
Okay.
I never saw them at all, but that's what I was told. They went out through the little bubble that was up above them.
Yeah.
That they used for taking readings, and they just popped that open, I guess, and went out through that, and we went out through the back tail, and out of the 18-man stick, as I say, there were five of the men and me that were able to, who were walking. I had some cuts and bruises.
Okay.
That's all. I was one of the lucky ones.
Okay.
And all I could think of is I don't want to stay down here in Italy. My outfit's gone to France.
Yeah.
And that's why I went in a glider. I had never seen a glider up close.
Okay, yeah.
And I hope I never see another one up close.
Okay. And were any of your men seriously wounded in that, or?
Yes, we had that. Out of the 18 men, we had 13 men that went to the hospital.
Okay.
A couple of broken legs and 2 or 3 broken arms and cracked ribs. And my platoon sergeant happened to be in that stick with me.
Yeah.
And he hit the side of the plane because we just grabbed a hole back we were back at the door.
Yeah.
As we were taking off, and smashed his mouth, and it broke out. Broke his jaw and a half a dozen teeth.
Okay.
Knocked out, and so he went to the hospital. He would have gone on. I said, no, you're not going. You're going to go back to the hospital and get your mouth worked on.
Okay.
But and out of as I say, the 5 men, there was one of us in each glider that was available.
Okay.
And none of us were hurt then on the glider landing.
Okay.
There was a couple of pilots killed, but not mine. My pilot was okay.
Okay. And when you landed, did you get to see what happened to the other gliders next door? Like, were there lots of?
You could see them. I could see them scattered all around. The landing zone that we were going to land on was a big meadow.
Okay.
And the Germans had had buried it with those 6 to 8 inch diameter poles sharp on top, like asparagus.
Okay, yeah.
And so you couldn't land on that. And all the and one of the gliders, guy didn't notice it soon enough, and he plowed into him.
Okay.
And he really tore his glider up. But the other gliders were damaged, and they were designed to be damaged.
Yeah.
But that's how I happened to be in the grape vineyard.
Okay.
That's where mine went in, and the gliders have no control, almost none at all.
Yeah.
They aren't like a regular glider. They were a glider that would just had enough wingspan to make them, if you were being pulled, to pull them up in the air.
Yeah. Okay.
And so they don't coast. They come down somewhat like a rock.
Okay. Yeah.
And just plow into the ground.
Okay.
And that's all I can think of. That there's so much, that goes on at the time. And all I was thinking about was my men and what do I do next and so on.
Yeah.
And I really didn't pay that much attention to what other people were doing.
Okay. Did you guys ever have any problems with mines in those first 2 days in southern France?
Some of the outfit did of the combat team that was scattered so far, but there was none there where we were.
Okay.
They had enough of the Wehrmacht Germans there in that area that by noon, they were, but mostly what we were getting was from sniper fire.
Okay.
We lost 2 officers by sniper fire. Of course, that's what they were looking for, and if an officer's leading his men and doing what he's supposed to do,
yeah,
it's obvious he's an officer.
Yeah.
So we lost, as I say, we lost a couple. But that was, I think we might have lost one man, but it was strictly the snipers.
Okay.
Although that same morning, I was standing up talking to a couple of men and saw a group of soldiers down below me moving through, I'd say it was a battalion, moving through that meadow.
Yeah.
And it turned out they were Germans.
Okay.
From a distance, their uniform was enough like ours. It's hard to tell.
That's why those French guys fired on you, I guess, that time too.
And of course, by that time, there was quite a number of the Maquis in the area.
Yeah.
That came right up to the outfit, and there'd be 1 or 2 with every group of men.
Okay.
Of our men. They were good men.
Okay. Yeah, would you have maybe any comments about the French Maquis guys, or about German prisoners? Maybe something interesting about them?
We weren't involved that much with the German prisoners, and they were only too happy the war was over for them.
Okay.
And they would have joined us if they could have gotten away with it.
Okay. You think so, actually?
That's how they were. They weren't the high-ranking, the highly trained troops. These were the Wehrmacht.
Yeah, okay.
Which are, as I understood it, almost like our National Guard.
Okay. And do you actually think they would have, some of them would have volunteered to come with you guys if they'd been allowed?
If we had been involved and ready to do that, they would have.
Oh, that's interesting.
When they gave up, it was over for them as far as, and they weren't too happy with. There's a lot of Germans that were young men that weren't happy being in the military. They were forced.
Yeah.
And so, well, similar to quite a number of hours. I wasn't, because I enlisted because I wanted to go.
Okay.
But an awful lot of men were drafted.
Yeah, okay.
I just can't.
And how would you deal with these German snipers, for example, that you shot at officers and stuff like that?
Well, there would be 3 or 4 men involved immediately trying to locate, because if it's a single shot, it's kind of hard to tell where it came from.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And so there was one spot. There was a house out in a 2-story house out in that meadow, and it was not too far from that when this officer friend of mine was killed, and commander sent word down. In fact, I was there when the battalion commander called for our one of our the men that had the tank weapons.
Yeah.
And he said, "Can you put a shell in that house upstairs?"
Okay.
Which he did. And it was obvious that the Germans were using it, but I don't think we killed anybody, because when that thing exploded in the house, the people came out of the house and there was a family of Frenchmen.
Okay.
But as far as I know, that they might have been scratched up a little, but they weren't hurt very bad.
Okay. So the German sniper.
There again, because when you're under fire in a house, you go to the first floor or below. You don't go up on the second floor.
Yeah.
And that's where the shell went. He put it right through a window on the second story.
Okay. And so the German sniper wasn't up there then, I guess, huh? He was somewhere else?
The sniper could have been there. I don't know.
Okay.
Later, that next day or two, we happened to be walking, and I walked near that house, and there was a French automobile there with two dead Germans in it that had been hit by somebody.
Okay.
Of our group. But that was 2 or 3 days after they were already decomposing.
Okay.
You see, it's been...
What did you say?
It's been 65 years since...
Yeah.
It's hard for me to remember. It's wonderful to talk to someone from France. I'm happy to. I thought an awful lot of your country.
Okay, yeah.
And I never saw one of them that wasn't a wonderful person.
Okay, good.
We were in the country, and this is where, same as our country people.
Yeah.
These people are different than the people who live in the cities.
Yeah.
The big cities.
So it's the same in every country like that?
I think it is, yes.
People from New York aren't the same as the...
different kind of people. There are different kind of people.
Yeah.
People that live out in the country.
Okay.
But they were always good to us. And we weren't all that good to them.
Oh, why? What did you guys do to them?
Like I say, I didn't do it, but I saw it done. Oh, the soldiers, I guess this is typical of all soldiers. They robbed every town they went through. They robbed stuff.
Oh, really?
And sent it home.
What kind?
I didn't.
Okay.
And there wasn't anybody in my platoon that did, because I put the word out that it was not going to happen in my platoon. So if they did anyway, I never found out about it.
Okay. And what kinds of things would they steal? Like, I mean,
the stuff in the house. You know, when a civilian leaves his house because it's under fire, he doesn't take much. He just takes his body to get out of there.
Yeah, of course.
And if he stays out of there until fighting goes on by and leaves it. But it's I don't know. It's as I say, there were men in the outfit that I didn't have any respect for at all that did that, because I thought what would happen in my own country, I wouldn't have wanted somebody coming through and that was supposedly on my side, fighting, that would take stuff out of my house.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Well,
have you lived in southern France all your life?
No, my mother's from Canada, so I used to live in Canada before when I was younger.
Oh, I'll be darned.
And I've only been living here for about 10 years, 12 years now. Actually, right now I'm a student, and I don't study in France. I study in Croatia, so I'm only rarely in France now. I'm a bit of a traveler family.
Well, where in France did you come from?
Well, like I said, I'm born in Canada, and but my father's from.
You were born in
Canada. Yeah, but my father is from Nice in France. So I'm half.
He was from the mountainous country then, somewhat.
Yeah. He, my grandparents were living in the mountains before, and that's where, on my father's side of the family, that's where everybody's from, the mountains.
Uh-huh.
And I live.
Where are you now?
Right now I live in a village that's near Nice, about 15 kilometers away on the coast. Near Antibes, near Kenya. I don't know. You may know where Antibes is.
Yep, I know where Antibes.
Well, it's between Antibes and Nice that I live. But my city was liberated by the 1st Special Service Force, not by 517th. So you wouldn't know the name.
The 517th actually was part of the Special Service Force.
No, you're confusing 1st Special Service Force and 1st Airborne Task Force. I mean 1st Special Service Force, the unit.
The man that was the unit of the 1st Special Service Force was formed, and I forgot who the
General Frederick.
Yeah. General Frederick, yes, and he was over us.
Yeah, but then when he was over you guys,
so they called us part of that.
Yeah.
I never got a patch or anything like that. So I mean, we were just part of it because it was called that for the entire group of men that landed in southern France.
No, but that's what I said though. The group that landed in southern France, you were called the 1st Airborne Task Force, and in the 1st Airborne Task Force there was 517th, 509th, 551st, and the 1st Special Service Force. And Frederick.
Okay.
But I know it's a bit confusing because the names are similar. But anyways, I mean the unit that liberated my village was actually made of lots of Canadians and stuff. Because you know that in that 1st Special Service Force there was half Canadians and half Americans.
Yeah.
In that particular unit that had that spearhead on their uniform, that red spearhead.
And I guess we covered the entire southern border of France almost on the water.
Yeah, basically. They were south of you guys during the whole thing. They had between the sea and then the beginning of the mountains, and then you guys were further up, like at Parachute, like you said, Col de Brosse, all that.
Well, Parachute and Col de Brosse, that was later on, as we worked away from the coast.
Yeah. But
the little community, the little village that was the drop zone.
Yeah.
Was the village itself. You couldn't see the Mediterranean from that, but there were a number of places. The canyon that we went up when we got up to the northern end of that canyon, going toward well, the story I just told you about.
The Saint Césaire. Saint Césaire.
Saint Césaire.
Yeah.
In that area there, you were already up in the mountains well enough that we could see the coast and see the ships out on the on the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Well, it's sure. I wish I could tell you more. As I say, when I came home, I kind of put it out of my mind, so much of it. For quite a few years.
Well, yeah. Did after the war, did you ever have any what they talk about now? These soldiers in Iraq, for example, they always talk about this post-traumatic stress disorder thing and all that.
No.
You never.
I had a little form of it, and I think everybody did, but you never thought of it.
Okay.
Now that's all they talk about all the time.
Yeah. That's what I don't really get. So I'm asking you about that because
I can understand what's going on now in Iraq. I would have the stress too. Anybody does when you have no way of. You aren't fighting somebody that you can see.
Yeah.
Somebody, and you have to live with that day and night all the time. I think that's tough.
Yeah, it's not. Well, with you guys in France, it was more or less army against army with a clear front line and stuff.
Right.
Whereas there, it's just driving around, and you never know when a bomb is going to explode beside the road or whatever.
I should say I wouldn't care for that at all. I'm one of the typical of so many of the veterans of World War II.
Yeah.
I don't think we ought to be over there. I don't think that's up to us to police the world.
Okay, but I'm okay. We don't have to get into that debate or whatever, but it's just okay.
There's too much politics involved.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
if Canada a number of times, I love the Canadian people too.
Okay. Well, if ever you want to contact me for whatever reason, through Howard Hensley, you can I was told that you don't use computers, but I sent quite a few emails to that 517th website and stuff. And if you ask Howard Hensley, he has my phone number and my email address and stuff. So if ever you want to contact me for whatever reason, you can find me like that. Okay.
Sure.
And
I'm going to be seeing him, I think, in the next 2 weeks.
And at that reunion or something.
We have a reunion at Portland on the 17th.
Okay, yeah. And yeah, do you maybe know a person from either I or either G company, those ones that were actually involved at Saint Césaire, that might that has a good memory and that that might want to talk with me about what he remembers? Do you have any ideas of?
I couldn't tell you. There aren't too many of us left now.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem,
So
unfortunately.
I don't know for sure. I'll know after this because I'm going up for the reunion.
Okay.
I'll know more about who's still living. I'm not. I try to keep up with it, but.
Okay. Well, if ever you have any ideas, you can try to contact me. Actually, I don't know if you heard about this, but a few years ago here in France, I found a helmet from the 517th, and there was a name written on it. And I managed to. Well, I looked up in the phone book and on the list of soldiers and everything, and I found that the soldier was a guy from I Company, and I phoned him and stuff. And then he came over to France last year, and saw his helmet. Yeah, his name is Marvin Moles. He was in I Company.
The Wolf, you say?
No, Moles. Moles.
Oh.
Marvin Moles.
Moles. No, I didn't know him. I knew a few men from I Company and there's some from G.
Okay.
But if they weren't in your own particular company, you had enough to.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So
I'm just saying that too. Like he might, for all I know, he might be at that reunion or something. He's still alive. He lives in Virginia.
Oh, I'll look for him then when I.
Okay. Well.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your call.
Well, thanks for telling me what you remember. And well, I guess well, maybe just one last thing. You said that you liked not to think about the war afterwards. Why was that? I mean,
well, right at first, as I say, all I thought about when the war was to come home, get married, and have children.
Okay.
Didn't quite work that way, but I got married and I have one child.
Okay.
But that was the main thing. It was in my mind. I don't know. It was just that I wasn't interested in the military that much. I liked the military.
Okay.
But if I had wanted to stay with it, I could have gone up in rank and so on. But I didn't what I wanted. I've lived in this little community where I live now since 1946.
Okay. And there wasn't some.
This little town where I live is 15 miles south of Oregon.
Okay.
On I-5.
Okay. But there wasn't any particular event that happened or whatever that made you feel this way, like during the war, some unpleasant things, or it wasn't one.
Well, as I say, the things that I saw happen, and it happened in Belgium too. But these people, the French people and the Belgian people suffered enough without us adding to it.
Okay.
That's the way I always felt about it.
Okay.
I still feel that way about it. I don't think that it's right at all, but that's the way soldiers are.
That's normal. There's always
yeah, it is.
Bad apples in every basket, or whatever the expression is.
Well, there's a few. Yeah. Oh, I've got one little story. In Belgium.
Yeah.
In Manhay, Belgium. My unit, 3rd Battalion, took that little town.
Yeah.
And it was pretty well blasted. And I came across a little building with no roof in it that had an enormous safe in it that was built right into the building.
Okay.
And I did what any young officer did. I called the commanding officer to tell him about it. He came and looked at it, and he said, "Get the demolition officer."
Okay.
And obviously, there again, there's something we shouldn't have done, but I didn't have anything to do with it.
Okay.
And when the demolition officer showed up, he said, "Can you blow that? I want to know what's in it." Then the officer looked at him like he was crazy, but he said, "Yes, sir, I can do it."
Okay.
Well, he wasn't a safe cracker, so he blew that safe all to pieces.
Okay. And
it was packed completely full of money.
Okay.
I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars.
Okay.
In Belgian currency. And it blew up, it went up into the air and came down like snow.
Okay.
That's one thing that I remember.
Okay. And
well,
this made me think. Lots of the citizens here, when I speak to them about the liberation, because I'm also speaking to the locals, of course, they always say, "Oh, the American paratroopers, they were all big, tall, strong guys," and then they say, "But all of them had been liberated from prisons in America." They had got their. I know that there were actually a few soldiers who had been liberated from prison, but that actually is just a rumor, I suspect. Eh?
That's just somebody started that rumor.
Yeah. Okay. But it was surprising because really, all the citizens I speak to here, all the civilians, well, the people that used to be, that are still alive, like all of them told me that. So it was, I was starting to wonder if it was true or something, because they really all said that to me. But I mean, I guess that was just the rumors that were going along back then.
Yeah, that doesn't have any fact at all in it. Believe me.
Yeah.
It's possible that, you see, we've had a couple of movies that talked about, like that they took the men out of prison to do some mission in Germany.
Yeah.
That was the movie. That was strictly. It wasn't done at all.
Okay.
There were cases of where a soldier was in my outfit. There's a couple of them that were caught running black market.
Yeah.
And they were convicted, and they were given their choice: go back on the line, or go home and go to prison.
Okay.
And that was done, and they made tremendous soldiers because they didn't want to go home and have that stigma. So that sort of thing just never came out later on.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's the only that I know of at all, and it wasn't. There's never any concerted effort to get men from prison and make paratroopers out.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I know that there was maybe like, I don't know, 5 or 10 guys in the whole unit that had that choice. But I mean, that had maybe light prison sentences or something. But I mean, not at all to the extent that I heard civilians here believing it occurred at.
Yeah, no, it just wasn't the case.
Yeah, okay.
We as paratroopers were trained, heavily trained, almost like the Rangers of today.
Yeah.
And my particular outfit was a small one. See, we weren't part of a division.
Yeah.
We were nothing but a regiment.
Yeah.
And so there was a difference in the way we were trained. We were specially trained for Southern France jump.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well,
that's all I had to ask, and okay.
I'm sorry I don't have any more information.
Oh.
I'd be happy to give it to you if I had it.
It's okay. Thanks. Thanks a lot for telling me what you remember.
Okay.
And maybe see you someday. Okay. Another day.
I hope so.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.